I'm Kate Glazer from Mercy Flight.
And I'm John DeSciullo from WBBZ-TV.
We are so thankful to have you here with us as we bring you some incredible highlights from this year's Beacon of Hope Gala.
It was an extraordinary experience and the first time ever that you're going to go inside the Mercy Flight facility. We're privileged to help bring you this extraordinary show.
We had performances by American Idol's John Stevens and Eric Lindbergh, the grandson of famed aviator Charles Lindbergh. They were with us not only to celebrate Mercy Flight and all it does to save lives here in Western New York, but the charitable generosity was felt.
And that giving doesn't end there, though. Mercy Flight is Western New York's leading emergency medical transport organization, both in the air and on the ground, bringing expert care when minutes matter.
As a nonprofit organization, your charitable donation is critical and so meaningful to us. Join us in this next hour to learn more about how you can turn your holiday giving into lives saved here in Western New York.
You'll see at the bottom of the screen how you can go online to donate and support Mercy Flight. Part of our presentation tonight includes interviews from the orange carpet with our friend Mary Friona Solani.
But first, we begin with a performance by American Idol's very own John Stevens. Enjoy.
Fly with me, let's fly away. If you can use some exotic booze, there's a bar in far Bombay. Come on, fly with me, let's fly away. Come fly with me, let's float down to Peru. In Llama Land, there's a one-man band, and he'll toot his flute for you. Come on, fly with me, let's take off in the blue. Once I get you up there, where the air is rarefied, we'll just glide so starry-eyed. Once I get you up there, I'll be holding you so near. You may hear all the angels cheer just because we're together. Weather-wise, it's such a cuckoo day. You just say that word and we'll beat those birds down to Acapulco Bay. It's so perfect for a flying honeymoon, they say. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Once I get you up there, where the air is so rarefied, we're gonna glide absolutely petrified. Once I get you up there, I'll be holding you so near. You're gonna hear all the angels cheer just because we're together. Weather-wise, it's such a cuckoo day. You just say that word and we'll beat your bird down to Acapulco Bay. It's so perfect for a flying honeymoon, they say. Come fly with me. Come fly with me. Come fly with
John Stevens, everybody. What a great talent from Western New York. Here, come on up, John. We haven't seen you in a while. Give us a little background. Where have you been? We haven't seen you since American Idol.
So I've been based in Boston. I went to Berklee College of Music, graduated, and I've been there ever since, teaching, and then now I'm performing with the Boston Pops, Beantown Swing Orchestra, a big band that I perform with regularly, and I've been writing my own music as well, so doing a whole bunch of different stuff in music. So it's been great.
It's been great, and you were telling me backstage you're hoping maybe to come on back home.
Within the next, that's my plan, within the next 2 years to get back to Western New York, because I really, really miss it.
And we miss you, John Stevens. You're going to come back with that mop of red hair. Never stops. Hey, I'm going to give you your mic back.
Thank you, John.
We're going to see John later on in the show. John's family is here, his mom and dad. John, thanks so much for being here and starting off our presentation here tonight. John Stevens, everybody.
I'm Mary Friona here at the Mercy Flight hangar where the Beacon of Hope Gala is underway, and I am with Rob Moore from Moore's Kids. And just thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
We really appreciate it, and you do so much for the community, and we want you to know how much we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what your organization is all about and why it means so much to you.
I think it's important. Our organization is about helping people in need and just spreading God's love and giving back. We've been blessed, so that's how we want to give back. I think Mercy Flight's important because unfortunately we didn't have a lot of ambulance service out where we live up north in the north towns, and now they're there. So it's important for us to have that. When we need them, they're there.
If you had to give a message out to the community as far as what Mercy Flight is all about, to sum it up, what would you say to people that aren't really familiar with them?
I think Mercy Flight is something that people don't think about, like a lot of things in life, until they need to think about it. And so it's there. It's there when you need it.
We certainly hope we don't need it, right? But it's sort of a peace of mind knowing that we're here. But the thing is about Mercy Flight is a lot of folks don't realize that it's a nonprofit.
Yeah, it is. And that allows us to run leanly and meanly and keep costs down. If you look at what air medical services around the country charge, their costs are a lot higher. And in today's day and age, healthcare costs are skyrocketing, and bankruptcies often occur from medical costs. And so it's good that we can provide low costs to the community, especially for trauma patients, for example. They often have long hospital stays and just astronomical healthcare costs.
It has never been about working hours, it's been about dedication and taking care of people, never asking what they can afford to pay or what their situation is. It was always taking care of the patient.
And you call it a ministry.
It is a ministry. It is that.
Okay, so when people say you are a hero, what do you say to that?
No. Nope. I'm just doing my job, doing what I'm trained to do.
You're saving lives every day.
That's okay. That's okay. People save lives in different fashions. This is just more of a immediate and acute fashion.
Well, I can tell you my daughter was saved by a Mercy Flight crew 9 years ago. Outstanding, right? I mean, I can't even imagine my life without her.
Well, naturally. I mean, your own child, but we see it. We see it all the time. And that's why we do what we do.
And when you get a call, you don't know the person, you don't know what the problem is, you don't know how old they are. What goes through your mind?
We might have an idea of, well, when you get a call, you go through the motions, like it could be this, it could be that. We have protocols, we have algorithms, you just go through them in your head, and when you do it long enough, it just becomes second nature, and a lot of stuff is reactive, so we won't know till we get there.
And you hope and pray that you don't need them, but to know that they're here, it gives such a peace of mind to us.
It is. Besides of the event and the organization, what a great thing is to represent Russell Salvatore, who has, his heart is bigger than his body, for sure. He does so much for the community. It is also great to know that behind all of this event is a talented person like you, John DeShulo, and also when I heard Brian Whitman was on this event, yes. I say, I know it's going to be an event and I know it's going to be a party, so I'm glad to be here.
I want to thank everyone for being here. We're all proud of all that has been accomplished since Mercy Flight's beginning in 1981, how a dream and a vision turned to reality, becoming this community's beacon of hope when tragic situations happen. I credit our success to a community of compassionate, caring, and people like all of you sitting here. Whether you've given your time, your talents, or your dollars, please know that your giving means everything to the Mercy Flight team. You are making a difference in our community, in life-saving ways.
Doug, we have something that we have something special, another special presentation for you. We know we're celebrating the great new Bell helicopters, and Ron Orndorff is here from Bell Helicopter. And I understand, Ron, you want to come up on stage?
I hope everyone here knows Doug, because if you do, your life has gotten a little bit better just by being close to that guy. There is truly no one that I have come across that is more special. If you haven't had a chance to meet him, if you can take 2 minutes tonight, the sun will seem a little brighter tomorrow. Your life will be a lot better, but be very careful. Because if you spend 3 minutes with him, he's probably going to have a nickname for you. And then he'll probably be trying to figure out a way to play a joke on you. But he is truly one of the most special guys that I have ever came across in my life. So it is a pleasure for me to be able to deal with these guys for
Doug,
about
come on
the
in.
past
Doug,
8 years.
Doug, come on over.
So to help try to keep him warm in this Buffalo winter, he's got a jacket, and Doug, you say it's got your logo on one side, and of course it's got the little bell bug on the other side.
Thank you very much. This is cool. Do you see what you could have for $27 million?
I have to acknowledge some other people that are here, and they're at the front table. We should give a great round of applause to Margie Ferrantino from Mercy Flight as well. Margie, congratulations on everything that you do. And also Sister Sheila Marie Walsh. So Sister Sheila right there, and Margie Ferrantino, stand up. Margie, stand up, Sister Sheila. Give these ladies a round of applause, women of power who have made Mercy Flight what it is today. They were there 30 plus years ago. 37 years ago, and these ladies helped put this together with Doug.
Coming up, more from Mercy Flight leaders and patient stories you won't want to miss.
And remember, donations are much needed to make sure that Mercy Flight stays in the air, remains a beacon of hope, especially during emergencies and when time is of the essence.
Just head to the link at the bottom of your screen to donate now. Thank you, and stay tuned for more.
Kate, I know you join me as we welcome everybody back to the Beacon of Hope Gala. You may have heard the buzz around Western New York as Eric Lindbergh made his way to Buffalo and landed in a Mercy Flight chopper at the Charles Lindbergh Elementary School in Kenmore. Eric is the grandson of aviator Charles Lindbergh, who was made famous for his solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean a century ago.
We were honored to have Eric join us and offer his words on the future of aviation and his thoughts about growing up alongside a hero like his grandfather. He also stressed the importance of air medevac organizations like Mercy Flight.
But first, we're going to share with you the story of a sweet Western New Yorker who needed the services of Mercy Flight after a tragic backyard accident.
Watch here how the flying critical care ambulance known as Mercy Flight was the beacon of hope he so desperately needed.
Well, it started out as a good day, and it's just in the blink of an eye it turned tragic.
I remember just hearing the curdling scream of my husband, call 911, call 911. I remember going outside, I remember seeing him, and I immediately called the police department and said, send me Mercy Flight.
Mercy Flight 5, you have a go.
It's bad. It's nothing an ambulance could do. He needs to get to the hospital, he needs to get to the hospital now. Gavin and I just prayed the Our Father the entire time. And then I heard Mercy Flight landed, and I thought, that was fast. That was very fast. We're gonna be okay. The minute he got into the Mercy Flight, he felt comfortable. He knew he was gonna be okay once he got in, and they kept praying with him too. And he also told us that they want him to look down on his house and wave to his house, and wave to his family that was down there watching over him, and that they would be there in minutes. And they just kept praying, and he got there and he was comfortable. They made him feel like he was their child.
Car 71 doing Mercy Flight. I have a young man here that'd like to say something if you can copy.
Thank you for saving my life. Get me to the hospital as fast as you can.
You're welcome. Our pleasure.
He did lose above the ankle, 3 inches above the ankle. With 6 surgeries, it's, you know, he's had to keep going up. But thank God to Mercy Flight, we were able to get him there fast enough to where we beat an infection, which could have been severe. We are currently getting fitted for a prosthetic, which will help Gavin walk, but it's a process.
The strength that he's showed us all throughout all this is just amazing. I mean, he's been so strong. I never imagined my 10-year-old son with the strength that he's shown.
Hi everybody, on behalf of the Burns family, we want to say that we're sorry we couldn't make it tonight, but we want you to know that they are true angels in orange, and if it wasn't for them, we don't know where we would be today. And enjoy your night.
Keep your eye out for us next year. We might just be there walking in.
I can't thank this organization enough for all they do for our community. God bless them. I sponsored a mission. I sent a nice thank you letter. I got a beautiful phone call back thanking me for what I did, but I can't thank you enough for saving my grandson's life.
Very powerful. Thank you, Robert Burns. God bless you and the family. We're Gavin Strong here tonight. So just over a year ago, Angelo was clinging to life on the side of the road, hidden in a ditch, after crashing into a deer with his bike. He sat for hours and prayed. He prayed for a miracle, for someone to find him, and just when he had lost all hope, he heard sirens and the roar of a helicopter. We're privileged to bring you Angelo's story. Take a look.
June 25th, 2017, a day I'll definitely never forget. I was riding home around dusk, and on my Harley Davidson, just enjoying the breeze, enjoying the air. Came up over a hill, but there was a deer standing right in the middle of the road. I stood my bike up and I went right off the road. I clipped a utility pole, launching myself into an embankment where I laid for a little while before I was found. I didn't know where my phone was. I couldn't get up. I just was looking up into the stars and thinking, like, I'm just gonna lay here forever. I don't know if anyone's gonna find me. Just terror, really, fear that, you know, I knew that something was wrong. I knew that I needed help, but I knew that I was so far off the road that someone would have to find me by the grace of God. But eventually, Mercy Flight ground crew was there. I remembered that, you know, there was a helicopter there and that it was most likely Mercy Flight, and I definitely felt a sense of reassurance then. It was then that I knew that at least I had a chance. I had a pretty significant head injury. I broke my wrists. I had 14 facial fractures in my face, in my orbital bone, my cheekbone, my nasal cavities, into my teeth, and the whole side of my face was just, you know, it's unbelievable to see. It's traumatic at times, I guess, to look back and think of how helpless and hopeless I was, to really just kind of start over. Sometimes things happen to kind of rattle the cage and let you know that life is precious and that there's more to life than just going to work. But Mercy Flight saved my life, and they've given me the opportunity to live life the way that it's supposed to.
I noticed, Angelo, in the video, it looks like you're a pretty rugged guy. You're out there. I noticed you're with some children doing things. What do you do? Explain that.
Well, I'm on the board of directors for Genesee County Habitat for Humanity. I'm also the missions coordinator for Northgate FMC in Batavia. So, thank you. I appreciate that. This is all kind of something that happened after the accident. I realized, it sounds cliche, but life is precious, and we wake up and we punch in, punch out on life, and we just try to get through the day. But I'll tell you, there's more than just that, and I try to get away as much as I can and spend time with people that don't live the lives that we live, dining and, thank you, whining and dining and doing the things that we do. And I've spent some time in Haiti, and I'm actually heading out to Budapest and Istanbul in a couple days to just spend some time in some homeless shelters and children's homes, just to try to give back, show some of the grace that God has shown me. So I just thank Mercy Flight so much for...
We thank you. We thank you, Angelo. Continued good luck with your missions in Mercy.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Angelo Dispenza. More stories coming up. Maverick was just a few months old when his journey began with Mercy Flight. It was this past Easter Sunday that baby Maverick was celebrating at a family gathering when, without warning, he was attacked by a family dog. The dog left a gaping wound to Maverick's face, causing severe bleeding. Maverick was rushed to a nearby hospital where it was determined that he needed facial reconstructive surgery immediately. And that's when the Mercy Flight team and the Mercy Flight helicopter landed to get him care he so desperately needed. But it wasn't just the helicopter that came to his rescue. Check out Maverick's story.
Maverick was 8 months old when Mercy Flight came into our lives and totally changed our lives. So on Easter Sunday, we were at a family dinner and we were kind of just sitting around. We had already eaten and everything, and he was sitting with his grandma, and her mother's dog came up to us. We heard the dog growl, and then all of a sudden the dog just bit him. There was no time to interfere. It was one of those times where you had to be strong because you had no other options. So I was totally just focused on getting him where he needed to go. We went Mercy Flight to Batavia, and then we took the Learjet all the way to Cincinnati, which it only took us a little bit over an hour. We got there very fast, and it's a 7 or 8 hour drive if you drive straight through. He had his first surgery, and they stitched his lip together. That night, he was actually drinking from a bottle, and I was totally shocked because I was prepared for the worst. I didn't know if he was going to be able to drink or eat or what his future was going to be like. It was mostly just scary. He's doing great now. He's 1. He was only 8 months when that happened, so.
Mercy Medic 3, I returned to the city for coverage.
Most people take Mercy Flight and they're unconscious or they're unresponsive, and they don't really get to see the people, like the angels in orange. They don't get to see them. I actually got to watch firsthand at everything that kind of that's involved.
Can you say hi to everybody at home?
Mercy Flight saved him. They did. They saved, because if we hadn't gotten there as fast as we did, things would have probably gone a lot differently, and he wouldn't look as good as he does now. It wasn't just a ride. It's changed our lives. Mercy Flight changed our lives.
He's just a normal 1-year-old. He has a scar. We deal with it. Everybody knows about it, so it isn't until a stranger asks about it that we actually are like, oh yeah, the scar. So he lives a normal life, and it's because we got to where we had to go, and we got there fast. So it's all thanks to the Angels in Orange and everybody else who helped out.
Angels in Orange, there he is. Chad, get a close-up right here. Maverick, turn around there. Get your close-up for this guy. How about this face, everybody? Maverick, life saved with Mercy Flight. I want to thank Liberty Cab, one of our media partners, for helping bring this story to you tonight and on WBBZ. All right, friends, we saw earlier tonight on the orange carpet, all of you, our beautiful guests, our VIPs, you all walked that earlier tonight. And some of you may have spoken with our friend Mary Friona Solani. Mary is here, a former Channel 2 news anchor and now on WKBW, and she knows the impact of Mercy Flight all too well. Her daughter Maria relied on the life-saving emergency medical care of Mercy Flight when she was accidentally shot while on a camping trip with family and friends. The bullet hit a major artery in her leg, and her sister Alexa, the first hero, stopped the bleeding prior to emergency help arriving. Alexa's here. What a brave, brave moment that was for you, Alexa. Maria, though, needed to get to a major trauma center when time was of the essence, and Mercy Flight was the second hero, getting her where she needed to be within minutes. We're lucky to have these amazing women here with us tonight, their family, as we pay tribute to their angels in orange and blue, their lifesavers in orange. Here is Maria's story.
I don't think I'd be here today without them. I was camping and a little boy was playing with a gun, and I got shot in my leg, and it shattered my femur, severed my femoral artery. When I got on Mercy Flight, and I kept asking the one medic if I was gonna be okay, and he just pretty much told me, like, not to worry, I have to be calm.
It was terror. I mean, I didn't know what to think. I didn't know how bad it was.
I remember just being on the roof, and then I went downstairs, and I remember my mom showing up, and then they wheeled me into surgery, and that's about it.
I had to sign a form saying that they may have to amputate her leg. Hearing that as a mom is a nightmare. We can live without her leg, we cannot live without her, so do what you have to do.
I had to learn how to do everything again, walk again, ride a bike, run. I had to learn how to do everything all over again.
You can do it, you just did it. I'm so proud of her. She still has pain, but she's alive. And it's not an exaggeration to say she's alive because of the Mercy Flight crew. We had hope, and that was because of Mercy Flight. That was because of the surgeons. That was because of the chaplains. That was because of the crews. And everybody combined doing what they did for my daughter is, if you think about it, just a massive, lining of the stars.
After my accident, I went and got my EMT degree, working as a medical assistant. I don't think I would have wanted to be in the medical field if I didn't get to experience it firsthand and see that that's what I want to do, to be able to help people and help somebody that, say, is in the same position that I was in or worse.
The fact that you want to devote your life to helping other people amazes me, and I'm so proud of you.
So honestly, Alexa, where was your mind when this was going on?
I was just listening to what my dad was saying, and he said to hold her leg, and that's all I could think of. And I'm glad I was able to save her life, because we're 13 months apart, so we are, we're sisters, and it's just weird to think about what it would be like without her in my life.
It's very sweet. It's very sweet. Scott, come on up. Scott's here too. You're going to see more of Scott in a little bit. So Scott, your reaction here. Come around to the camera because we want to see you. The audience can see you here. They don't want to see me. They want to see you. What was your reaction?
These amazing ladies. These three amazing ladies. They're unbelievable. And I looked at my wife earlier tonight, and I said, I've never loved you more than I do right now. Just watch. This event is unbelievable, and we couldn't be more grateful for Mercy Flight.
And Manny, on behalf of Russell Salvatore, you saw this story. I know that Russell couldn't be here tonight, but tell us the reason that he and you are supporting this organization.
I think that obviously it's 1 degree of separation in this amazing organization. I have gained a lot of respect tonight for the orange color. Definitely Mr. Salvatore's big heart is too big for his body. He definitely believes in Mercy Flight. He believes in anything that has to do with the first responders. And it's amazing to see the stories of the legacy that Mr. Baker initiated, and what a great organization, and the amazing stories of Maria and the strength that you had to go through all of this experience. But it's a true honor and a blessing that Mr. Salvatore has the ability to contribute to the city of Buffalo. He will continue to do to the last day. Our meeting this morning was about Mercy Flight. And what we're going to do, we're going to go back to the restaurant and increase the prices of the steaks tonight so we can help next year.
I love you, Manny. I love that. We have a whole table. Chatham, the table is right here. Where's the Salvatore's table? Where they are, right there. Stand up. These are all the associates of Russell Salvatore, friends and family from Russell Steaks, Chops, and More, the people that go to every event that Russell participates in. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet Eric Lindbergh, the artist, the adventurer, the aviator. Good to see you.
Thank you. It's a little overwhelming to be here and special. I want to say that my passion in life is, it's all about escaping from gravity. I do that through aerospace, I do it through art, which helps me escape the gravity of life, and I do it through adventure to keep me healthy and keep me moving smoothly through life. As you can tell, I haven't quite managed to escape from gravity yet, so I'm still here, but let me take you on a little journey, starting with my grandfather. He was inspired to fly by birds and took that to the only real profession at that time, barnstorming and then flying the mail. And that inspiration, he wanted to show the world what aviation could be used for. It could be used for maybe for commercial purposes. And that inspiration, combined with determination, allowed him to chase the Orteig Prize, a $25,000 prize, to be the first person to fly nonstop from New York to Paris. That flight, more than any other, created a radical shift in the public's perception about what aviation could be used for. And I like to say, before grandfather flew across the Atlantic, that was a click, thanks. Before he flew across the Atlantic, people who flew in airplanes were called barnstormers and daredevils and flying fools. It was risky business. After he flew across the Atlantic, people who flew in airplanes were called pilots and passengers. And it was the birth of long-distance air transportation that we all know and use and depend upon today. Now, just giving you a little backstory on me, I also like to fly. When I was young, I was a little bit allergic to the whole Lindbergh legacy, but I nonetheless took every opportunity I could to fly. My whole sense of self was physical. I was a state champion gymnast. I climbed and skied Mount Rainier. I water skied around Bainbridge Island, the island I grew up on, to raise money for a nonprofit. I started my philanthropic efforts real early at age 18. By the time I was 21, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. And over the next 10 years, the disease progressed, and I lost my ability to walk and to work and really to live a life other than sitting. It destroyed my sense of self. And then in 1996, I had both of my knees replaced and started taking a breakthrough biotechnology drug that gave me a second chance at life. And I didn't know if I'd get a third chance at life. So it enabled me to sort of break through the barrier of fame, the burden of fame that comes with being a Lindbergh, and allowed me to walk in the footsteps of my grandfather. If you think about it, as the most famous person on the planet for about 10 years straight. That was a difficult legacy, and how do you fill those shoes? Well, once I realized I didn't necessarily need to fill those shoes, but I could celebrate that and walk in his footsteps, it freed me up. And so in 2002, I flew a small aircraft on the 75th anniversary of Grandfather's flight and flew from San Diego to St. Louis to New York, and New York to Paris, just retracing his steps across the country and then that long distance cross country. And I did that not only because I could and because I had that second chance at life, but because I wanted to take a payload into the future and showcase the future of flight and the future of medicine. And I succeeded in the prime directive, which was to survive the flight. Click. And I used it to help jumpstart the private spaceflight industry. Now you say, well, how do you do that? Well, all my messaging and all the 500 million pre-social media impressions that we got for that flight went towards space flight, the future of flight, and the X Prize. In 1996, we had announced a small nonprofit, and we announced a $10 million prize, the largest cash prize in history, which would be awarded to the first privately funded manned space program that could carry 2 people up into space, return safely, and do it again within two weeks, proving that it was reusable. In 2002, it took us a lot longer than we thought to be able to actually grow that organization and survive. In 2004, 2 years after my flight across the Atlantic, we were able to have one of our competitors launch out of Mojave, fly this spacecraft called Spaceship One up to 328,000 feet, 62 miles into space, return safely, and do it again. And that flight jump-started the private spaceflight industry that we're seeing right now starting to accelerate, where you and I can actually go and buy tickets and soon, hopefully, fly into space. Blue Origin, SpaceX, Virgin Galactic, maybe you could even send your Tesla into space, as Elon Musk has done. That was extraordinary. Being a part of a small team of people that got Spaceship One hanging in the Air and Space Museum next to my grandfather's Spirit of St. Louis, and as I noticed in the silent auction, next to the Bell X-1 that Chuck Yeager flew and broke the sound barrier in. That was incredibly empowering. And we asked ourselves, how do we do that again? How do we change the world's expectations about spaceflight? And I'm not really a rocket scientist, so I set my sights back on aviation. I noticed that electric propulsion had the potential to make aviation clean and quiet. And so I started giving prizes for demonstrating excellence in this field. And along that pathway, click, started a company called Vertigo Aero. And we're building propulsion systems, electric vertical takeoff and landing propulsion systems for that next generation of flying cars. That's pretty exciting. Click. Imagine short distance air travel, like those Bell 429s out there that are so capable. And imagine them clean and quiet, enabling us to reach a scale that we can't do with helicopters, enabling us to fly above the traffic. You can see the problem in this heat map. The orange spots are the most dense traffic in the world. If you thought traffic was bad in New York City or in London, it's actually the worst in Asia. But I do want to create flying cars that will take us to the next generation of flight. And let's move to the next slide. I'm really here for selfish reasons. And that's because, yes, I want this little guy to have the freedom that we have today, to fly around the country and experience that freedom, and maybe someday fly into space and see our planet from, as the astronauts do, and see this fragile blue ball, planet Earth, our only truly sustainable spaceship that we have. But selfishly, it's because when my son Gus was born, he had some complications, and he got a helicopter flight. The first hours of his life to the intensive care unit at Swedish Hospital in Seattle. And now he's 18 years old, and he's about to, well, hopefully he's about to graduate from high school. and that's an incredible gift, and it was given to me by people like you. And that's, that gift of life, it may be the best gift of all. Thank you.
Eric Lindbergh, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Eric Lindbergh, everybody, grandson of Charles Lindbergh. What an inspiration. All right, Mercy Flight's beacon of hope. That is why we're here this evening, not only to celebrate the cause, but also recognize all of those who work in support of these life-saving efforts. We're talking about our pilots, our physicians, EMTs, our nurses, operations and maintenance personnel, as well as our charitable board members and donors. We wouldn't be here without you, without each and every one of you. And everyone here knows of or has been touched personally by Mercy Flight. Whether hearing a story of a dramatic rescue on the news, witnessing the familiar orange, blue, and white of the helicopter soaring overhead, or the helicopter, loving someone who has been saved, or even utilizing Mercy Flight's services personally. But stop for a moment and consider now think about this. What if Doug Baker, Margie Ferrantino, and Sister Sheila Marie Walsh had never envisioned the crucial emergency medical service? What if it didn't come to mind? What if thousands of fire, police, emergency responders, and hospital teams were not our valuable partners? I can't even imagine. What if the caring corporations, businesses, and citizens in Western New York, what if they didn't donate so generously? Where it used to be on Route 5 and where it is here today. Imagine a world without Mercy Flight. It's absolutely difficult to fathom. However, did you wonder what it really takes to place a Mercy Flight caller? How these amazing men and women of Mercy Flight and all the great first responders, have you ever thought about how they work together to save lives? Well, think no more, because here is exactly what happens when minutes matter.
How was school today?
It was good.
Did you play volleyball?
Yes.
And how's your serve coming along?
Not so good.
I think we should work on it this weekend.
Amy's birthday bash slumber party is this weekend.
Is your homework done?
No.
Is your room clean?
No.
That was the deal we made. If
I got a two-car motor vehicle accident with entrapment. Springville 9 is requesting Mercy Flight 5 respond to the location of 13915 White Street.
Come and get a hold of it. Lauren? Hi, Lauren. My name is Katie. We're going to take care of you, okay?
Mercy Flight ground, Mercy Flight number 5, 02 and 18.
We need a stabilizer and act ready. Ma'am, tell me your name.
Ready? 1, 1, 2, 3.
We have possible head trauma.
Okay, very good. Go ahead.
Line reporting landing zone insecure.
She's presenting severe head trauma. She's drifting in and out of consciousness.
Okay, very good. I'm going to wait. Go ahead. They have your mommy on your car now, okay?
Hang on, Lauren, just a few minutes before we land. She's losing consciousness.
10-year-old female patient involved in a motor vehicle collision. Vehicle rollover required a 20-minute extrication on scene.
It's okay to be speechless because what you just saw is so powerful. And it's okay to take this moment to remember the lives that have been saved and the people that have been helped. That video was produced by a company called D-Post here in Buffalo and is very, very powerful. All right. But the good news is that Mercy Flight does exist, and what you saw in that dramatization is very true to what happens. And on the ground and in the air, when time is of the essence, Mercy Flight is there.
Thank you for tuning in for a very special airing of the Mercy Flight Beacon of Hope Gala. It's been a pleasure having you with us.
If you've been inspired by the amazing patient stories, by those who have been helped by Mercy Flight and the first responders who assist Mercy Flight, remember that your support is crucial.
Mercy Flight is a life-saving nonprofit mission, bringing emergency medical care in critical time of need. We are here for you because of you.
Your giving makes a meaningful difference. Donate now to the link below, and together we can continue to keep Mercy Flight in the air and on the ground when minutes matter.
And now it's time for the grand finale.
For Kate Glazier of Mercy Flight and John DeShulo here from WBBZ-TV, thanks for watching.
Fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, baby, kiss me. Fill my heart with song. Let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship, dig and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. You are You. Thank you for having me, Mercy Flight.